how fear is being implemented into
Indeed.
people to control them. Most of our actions react through fear, or through fear of losing, or fear of missing out.
Indeed. For me, Bitcoin is up there with invention of fire. I say invention, discovery. Okay? Discovery of fire, discovery of the wheel.
Some of the Muslims that speakers that go there, I think they're paid to divide.
Yeah.
Some of the Christian ones that they go there, they're paid to divide, because no one speaks about any similarities, and they speaking only about the differences.
Hijab is being criticised. Did you know in Judaism and Christianity,
They used to wear it.
women, have you ever seen a photo of Mary without a head covering?
Christian Orthodox, I'm an Orthodox, the women are not allowed to walk into a church without a veil.
Is it steals people's energy, okay? Monetary energy. Because what is money? What is money? Money is time, okay? Money
Time.
is energy, okay? In most people's mind, it's a piece of paper, but it's not, okay?
Yeah.
The only finite thing, okay, that is finite to every single human, okay, is time.
Time.
Because everybody's going to die.
Yeah.
Okay? So your time
Is limited.
is limited, and the most finite thing in the world
Yeah. It's time.
for you. Okay? Now, what you do is you exchange that time for a piece of paper. Okay? So your energy, time, your energy there is transferred into this piece of paper. Okay? Now, what inflation does is it steals. Okay? So as more money is printed for no time spent, okay, by certain individuals going to print more money by not spending any time or any energy into it, and what that then does is the value of your money, which is stored in this fiat money, decreases. Essentially, they're stealing from you. Okay, so you had £10,000 in a bank.
Yeah.
2 years later, okay, if with those £10,000 you could buy, tell me something.
Yeah. You could buy a house, for example. Like I said, hypothetically speaking, we have £100,000.
Yeah,
a few years ago, you could buy a house with 100,000.
Yeah.
Now there's no.
Exactly. What you're going to buy? The one thing that is guaranteed is you're never going to be able to buy more the following year. It's always going to be less.
Yeah. So
that's guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. Okay. Never in the history have you been able to buy more. Okay. It's always been less. Okay. So
the inflation can only. Sorry to interrupt. The inflation can only happen with money. If money vanishes from society, the inflation cannot happen.
No. Well, it depends. What is money?
Money is just a currency that should be backed by something. But if it's not backed by nothing, then that's it. That's when, let's say the money was backed by gold, the inflation cannot just rise at a certain thing, because there's so much amount of gold that it goes round.
And I will now. I'm kind of stuck between two of the points. Let me come back to the gold. I'll finish the first one off.
Finish the first, come back to that.
So in terms of addressing your point about the base and base
the
layer,
base.
okay. So when you actually sit there and think about it, and there's a fantastic book by Jeff Booth where he explains this. I forgot the name of the book itself. But when you actually sit down and think about it, if there was no inflation, okay, in theory, as technology improves, okay, the price of everything
should decrease.
Okay,
because it's easier to make. Yeah, we got machines.
Yeah. So exactly. So as technology and
very good point. I like that.
And we know that technology gets better and better over time. Okay? So now AI can start doing things which would have taken 2 weeks for a human to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So as technology improves, things should become cheaper. But what we actually find that despite technology improving, things get more and more expensive.
That's a very good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you know the name of the book. It's fantastic. Where this really.
I'd like to know. Maybe it comes back to you before you leave. Yeah.
So, in that sense, it is the monetary system. It is the printing, which is the main issue. Now, this brings back to the point in relation to the gold. Okay? So why is it that something backed by gold has value, and this will bring me back to Bitcoin and crypto. Okay, so why is it that something that's backed by gold has value? Because you touched on that, because there's only a limited amount of gold.
Let's say there was no gold and there was no money, and there was normal trade like 1,000 years ago. This year a cow will still be worth a cow. Next year at the trade, when I go to the market with it, you know what I mean? I'll still get. It depends on thing. Maybe based on the weather and the conditions on the crops. Maybe 2 bags of potatoes will be worth less than a bag of flour. Do you know what I mean? It could fluctuate like this, but it can never go out of margin. They'll still be thereabout. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now you get next year you could get a house for 20 cows. Next year it's half, and then you working to produce all this, and then your work is being paid less because they come in with, oh, I've got more gold. It's like getting the gold from the moon, and you come and buying everything off me with gold.
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand, yeah.
But the key thing with gold is, what gives gold value is
it's limited.
It's limited, but there's one bigger factor, and that bigger factor is,
and it's hard to find. Obviously, there's a lot of work involved to get it as well.
That
mining it.
Yes. Proof of work.
Proof of work, yeah.
Proof of work.
Yeah, exactly,
okay?
yeah.
Now, gold gets its value because gold is expensive to mine.
Okay? Yeah.
So, whereas you've got a government who can produce money out of thin air with no proof of work, with no energy invested. Okay?
Yeah, that's a good.
Gold requires a lot of energy, in order to extract it.
Yeah.
Okay? And that is what gives gold its value because, for example, why is concrete not worth as much as gold? Okay? Concrete's easy to extract.
Yeah.
And there's loads of it everywhere. Now, gold, people say it's limited. Yeah, it's limited, but we don't really know how much gold there is. There was, I think about 2 years ago, there was a mine discovered in Uganda, a gold mine, which had more gold in it than which has ever been mined.
We don't know. Yeah,
has ever been mined in human history.
Yeah.
Okay. So there could be tons of gold, but what we do know is that in order to mine that gold, it's going to require energy
and effort.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why when you're backing money by proof of work, that then gives that money
value.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas producing it out of thin air, there's no value in it. There's no proof of work. Nothing. Okay. So that kind of links back to why. So sorry. In terms of the gold itself, again, when the price of gold goes up, okay, then what they do is they start. It becomes you become incentivized. The companies who mine gold become incentivized to be able to go mine more gold. Okay, so they go and mine more gold because it's worth investing the money into it in order to mine it because the price is high.
Yeah.
Now, the more that they start extracting and the more that starts coming into the market, what that then does is supply and demand. The price of gold starts coming down.
Yeah.
Okay, because the market's now been
it's flooded with gold.
Flooded with gold, and then it hits the point where it's suddenly no longer viable to continue mining it,
right?
And then the price just adjusts.
Okay. Yeah.
So again, supply and demand. But when you apply the same principle to money, okay, the price doesn't adjust. It's always going down because
they just flooded it. Yeah. The supply unlimited.
Flooded. Unlimited. Yeah. And that then comes back to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Now, Bitcoin is the only. I don't like referring to Bitcoin as cryptocurrency because in my mind they're two different things. But
so why is Bitcoin in your mind Bitcoin is not a cryptocurrency? Or do you see as the Bitcoin as digital gold?
Bitcoin. If you look at Satoshi's white paper, he does not use the term cryptocurrency. He does not use the term blockchain. The term he uses is time chain.
Time chain.
Yeah. And where time chain, the best way to describe it is it holds and stores human energy,
Yeah.
okay? And it stores it and moves it over time without losing that energy, okay?
Yeah.
So whereas
Time change.
yeah, so where with fiat money,
Yeah.
which is not backed by anything, you have 10,000 in the bank, and you worked many hours in order to save that £10,000.
Yeah.
Okay, now the time has progressed over a 10-year period,
You're losing it.
and you've just left it there under the mattress,
Yeah.
and suddenly you can buy 1/10 of what you could have bought. So
Yeah.
your money's still there, but your energy's been stolen from you. Okay, because
Yeah.
the vessel in which you store your energy, okay, it's got leaks everywhere. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So it's leaking. Yeah.
it's leaking. So over a period of time, that value has been lost, gone. Okay, whereas Bitcoin, due to its features
Yeah.
and properties, okay,
Yeah.
is the greatest store of value that
There is in the modern world.
man has ever invented. Okay,
Man has ever
man has
invented.
ever invented it. For me, Bitcoin is up there with the invention of fire. It's up there with, I say invention, discovery. Okay, discovery of fire, the discovery of the wheel. Okay, anything and everything that has changed. Okay,
Yeah.
how society and humans operate. Okay, because for the first time we have a technology which is capable of storing our energy and
Yeah, giving it back to us
Giving it
equally to
over time.
what we put in.
now the best way to visually see what I'm trying to explain here, okay, is I'm not sure if you've ever seen a website called pricedinbitcoin21.com.
No.
Okay, so
Priced
priced in Bitcoin
21.
21.com.
.com, yeah.
Now, if you go there, what you can do is you can see all major, all commodities, NASDAQ, shares, basically pretty much almost anything that you store, that acts as a store of value or investment or anything like that. And then you can see how that, how their value has depreciated when priced in Bitcoin.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whereas with your paper money, fiat money, okay?
Yeah, money's
So for a 200,000, you could buy a house 5 years ago, and that house 5 years ago in Bitcoin would have, I'm just making up a random number, would have cost you say 150 Bitcoin. Okay. Now that same house is costing you 5 years later about £400,000, but it's only costing you 4 Bitcoin. Okay.
yeah.
So, and here's something which will really blow your mind right now. Okay. So, people have been so again, this kind of links back to why do they not teach children about money and all of this at school? Okay.
Do you think they should learn? Everybody, the masses should learn about this.
Oh, without a doubt, okay, because until they can understand the root of all of this evil, okay, they cannot step outside of this. And I'd be happy to recommend some books and stuff if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
And if some people prefer watching things rather than reading, I think
what was the best book you'd recommend?
I would probably say Safety in Amadeus is a excellent starting point. It's a 3-book series, starting off with the Bitcoin standard. Second one is the fiat standard, and the third one is the principle of economics. And those, even though it's called the Bitcoin standard, it doesn't really talk much about Bitcoin. It's more about explaining the monetary system.
Yeah.
And then the second one, the fiat, and then you understand how the monetary system impacts everything around you, whether the food you eat, okay?
Because obviously,
Now,
harder it is to produce it, they buy it cheaper, the quality of it decreases and end up eating.
crap. Here's something that will blow your mind and really kind of make you think. So people have this mindset or this belief that they live in this little bubble where they think, I bought a house for £200,000, okay? And in 10 years' time, I've been paying this house off, and now it's worth £400,000, and that was a fantastic investment, okay? Because I've made £200,000 on it, okay?
Yeah.
So I've done well.
In your head.
In your head. Okay?
Yeah.
Because then you ask them, okay, so you've doubled your money on this house. Yeah, I've doubled my money on this house. Okay, so if you've doubled your money on this house, then, so this was a 3-bedroom house that you bought, yeah? Yeah. Okay, so if you've doubled your money on this house, then you should be now able to buy a 6-bedroom house next door for that 400,000, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
I can't. I can still buy the same house for the 400,000.
That's exactly what I mean.
So have you doubled your money? Because you're still buying the same house.
With the same money.
With the same money.
With the same money, yeah.
Okay.
And
suddenly they're like, whoa.
It sinks in. It's just double the numbers of how much money, but the worth of the money is the same.
It's not that your house has gone up in value.
It's the money.
It is your currency
that's gone up in value.
that has gone down in value.
Yeah.
Okay. The buying power of your currency
it's gone down.
Has gone down and has devalued. And
it's scary.
In your mind, you're thinking, I've made money. I'm doing really well.
Yeah. I could smash it with this. I could be a proper property developer.
Yeah, exactly. So, in order for you to beat that system, you've got to
change the rules of the game a little bit.
Well, that and in order for so whatever the inflation is, you've got to at least match any investment that you have has got to go up as a minimum. So if inflation's at 10% per year, then the value of your property or any asset that you have has got to at least go up a minimum 10%, okay, for you to even break even. Okay? Anything above that inflation,
not even worth having the money.
Yeah, is where you're making anything of it. Okay? So again, and then when you compare that to Bitcoin, and again with Bitcoin you've got the proof of work. Energy, electricity, okay, in order to mine it.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got the supply set at 21 million. Okay. You cannot increase the supply like you can increase the supply of other cryptos.
Other cryptos.
Yeah, of other cryptos. Now, whereas Bitcoin has proof of work, okay, whereas the very first Bitcoin that was mined, it required energy to mine it, okay. Nobody was handed a
Bitcoin for free.
Yeah, nobody was handed a Bitcoin for free, okay, or handed a whole load of So,
what about XRP? Sorry to interrupt you. Have you looked into XRP?
It's all of it is proof of stake, okay, and if you look at every other single cryptocurrency, and I mean every, okay, all of them are pre-mined. Okay? Pre-mined. So, and they operate on a proof of stake system. Okay, so what they do is they say, okay, we'll pre-mine and give a whole chunk of it to me and my friends.
Yeah.
Okay, Ethereum does exactly the same.
Yeah.
And then we now have a proof of stake system where the people who have the most of it get to have power and control over changing the
price
of the changing the rules of the protocol.
Yeah.
Okay. So whereas with Bitcoin, because it's completely decentralized. So if, for example, you have one Bitcoin and I've got 20 million, that does not give me any more power over changing the rules of the protocol than it does you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Whereas in a proof of stake system, the person or the parties that have the most,
they can change.
They can change the rules.
Right.
Okay. So if they decide, if they say, okay, Ethereum, we're gonna have a set number of this many. Okay. Actually, now we've decided we're going to print some more.
Yeah,
Okay,
they can.
they can easy. Okay, you can't.
Well, Ethereum needs to be mined as well, doesn't it?
Ethereum is mined, yes, but originally it was pre-mined, and if you look at Ethereum's owner, I forgot his
that weird looking guy.
Yeah.
I need some vitamins in.
Yeah, it's the classic definition. If you want to, if somebody asked you, what does the word nerd mean?
Yeah, just show him. Yeah. Put him on.
So yeah, the very first Bitcoin, it wasn't mined by Satoshi. It was mined by Hal Finney, and that was done for a reason. Satoshi deliberately did not mine the first one. After that, every single Bitcoin that's ever been mined, nobody was handed one. It required
energy to mine it. All right, so
it.
it's all been worked on from the beginning. They didn't start the journey with 100,000 of them.
Yeah, this is for me and my friends,
and then the rest of them is for the world. Yeah,
and that for me is what separates.
That makes more sense now
from every other cryptocurrency, and which is why Bitcoin, like I say, is people say, well, what is where does Bitcoin derive its value from?
From proof of work and from whatever limited supply as well.
Exactly, and then I guess I could talk about this for hours, but
no,
I won't go too much into it. But
I'm interested. I'm all ears.
See, what is I'm now going to come back and talk a bit more about the technology of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is knowledge. Bitcoin is information. Now, with the way the world is going at the moment, and I'm sure you've heard about central bank digital currencies coming in.
XRP is supposed to be the one
building the platform. Yes, indeed. And again,
the banks would try and use it and try to take over SWIFT and stuff like that.
Yeah, so central bank digital currency basically is digital currency which is controlled centrally and is programmable. So so
and it's hackable as well.
Yeah, it's hackable and it's programmable. But for example, and this is happening in China already. This is not some sci-fi. This is happening in China.
It's happening, yeah.
As it is. So your central bank digital currency is how you can buy things and everything. You say something on this podcast that the government don't like, press a button. Now your central bank digital currency don't work no more. Okay.
Is it already started this?
Yeah. If you I can give you a website if you want to put it on the details element, where you can go in and click on any country in the world and it will tell you where they are with the development of their CBDC. Okay.
Can we say the website?
Oh, I don't remember what it is. I'll give it to you after. Of course. I can tell you what it is. I can tell you what it is.
I would have loved to give it to the people so they can check it out.
Yeah, of course.
People that they're watching this, they're actually somehow in the same page. If they sat around watching us until now, they already understand what we're trying to.
Indeed. And so this is happening everywhere. And say if you say something they don't like, then it's not going to work. Okay. Now you cannot then go on public transport. Okay, without your CBDC
little barcode.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot leave the country, travel. You can't buy food because we don't like what you've said. So we've stopped. You're a bad citizen, and therefore your social credit score is now come down, and so your CBDC is not going to work. Okay, so
I've had a guy on the podcast. He said that the credit scoring goes down.
Yeah, social credit score is down. You're a bad citizen, and now none of your stuff works, and you have been isolated from society and the good citizens.
Yeah, and the good citizens.
So again, modern day slavery. It is.
So we understand now. We both agree that the matrix is there, and then you can't get out. You just need to change the rules of the game. And what would be the solutions for us to change as a whole?
Okay, so
let's say the solutions. We know everybody talks about it. We all, a lot of people are waking up and know.
I think for me, I'm going to touch on 3 points.
Yeah,
total.
And then I'll tell you. I'll touch on to that point I told you earlier on about the speakers' corner.
Yes.
About the divisions and stuff. But I want to hear your point on the solutions of this.
Solution. So, I think the first solution for me is knowledge.
Educate people. Yeah.
People need to invest
In
their
themselves.
time. They need to learn about things. The knowledge is out there. Why are there so many distractions everywhere? Why has everybody got one of these? Okay, why is there so many gadgets?
And they're not reading any books on them. They're just scrolling and stay distracted.
Just scrolling. You got Instagram, Facebook,
everything.
everything, all of this. Okay, Netflix, all of these distractions around you.
Yeah.
Okay, stealing your time, stealing your energy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Energy. Yeah.
but you're not really learning because it's keeping you distracted from
Learning.
learning from what's actually happening to you
Yeah.
from your you being enslaved.
Yeah.
Okay, so get the resources, go out there, invest the time, learn. And understand what is happening, why it's happening, and I would start with money. Recommendation: if you're not much of a reader, I would.
I listen to books a lot. I think I'm a bit ADHD. Since I was a kid, I struggled reading, but now I've discovered the audiobooks.
Yeah,
I go
audiobooks.
through one every 2 days.
I would highly recommend Robert Breedlove. What is Money? It's available on YouTube.
Yeah.
Very, very educational and very, very clever guy. But I would start with the very first series, What is Money? And I think it's about 7 or 8 episodes. And that, for me, is an excellent starting point for anybody
who wants to understand.
Yeah. So, knowledge, the first thing. Secondly, for me, and this comes back to what we talked about in terms of the cultural Marxism and the weaponization of the language and all of that.
Yeah.
And stop being scared. Okay? Stop allowing these people to ostracize you and make you feel guilty, okay, for speaking the truth.
There's a book called Fear. I'd recommend as well.
Okay.
I forgot the author. It's got a mask, that exact mask.
Right. Okay.
On the case. That attracted my attention when I was in a bookstore in Manchester.
Yeah.
And it's explaining how fear is being implemented into people to control them, because people are through most of our actions we act through fear, or through fear of losing or fear of missing out.
Indeed.
So
I'm just going to touch on one thing actually, exactly in relation to this point. And I mentioned the Overton window earlier, how society's acceptability of certain ideas changes and over or can be influenced by changing culture.
Yeah.
Okay. And this kind of links back to what you just said there, and the concept of the Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah.
Okay. And what it basically is order through chaos.
Yeah.
Okay? Create the problem. Okay. So this is where you want to get to. So for example, I'm the government and I want people to get this vaccine. Now if I just said to people, go get this vaccine, they'll be like,
don't need it.
No, what is this? I don't want it. Okay. But so what you do is your ultimate goal is to create the vaccine. Okay. So how you get there is the Hegelian dialectic is you create a problem and then you
scare people.
Yeah, you create the problem itself by creating the virus. Okay. And then what you do is you create the hysteria and the fear and all of that. And then you come like a white knight on a horse riding in with a solution for
the problem,
to the problem. Okay. And when you think about it, this has been applied everywhere. For example,
And every time is the same.
Every single time, by creating the problem, and then creating mass hysteria, and then saying, well, we're doing this to protect your children and keep you safe.
Yeah.
Okay. Like with my children's school, my 5-year-old, I questioned the teachers. This is 2 weeks ago. Could you tell me why you believe my 5-year-old boy needs to be taught the words anus, vulva, and vulva? Okay. Well, it's to keep him safe, because there's a lot of rising cases of child abuse. And so if a child is able to describe things, okay, and give the exact name, it makes things so much easier, and it helps protect them. So this protects my child's safety. It's keeping, and the other parents were like, yeah, that does keep the kids safe. Okay. And they're sitting there nodding. I was like, can I just stop you there for a second? Like, yeah. Like, there's 5 women in this room.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that my child, my 5-year-old, knowing the words vulva and anus is gonna make him safer?
Mm-hmm.
Can you 5 women please tell me how many times in your life you've used the word vulva?
Yeah.
Like, he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. I've never used it.
Any kid, even educate, someone's harassed them, he'll come running in and say, Jarin, it's not hard.
Adrian, you tell me one simple thing, okay? How much?
Don't need to know all this.
How much do you know about all the parts in your car? Do you know them by name? No.
Well, if it makes a funny sound, I'll be going telling.
And you'll be able to explain to the mechanic.
There, it's mid left.
Yeah, it's there. It's got the sound coming out of it, and when I accelerate, it doesn't go as fast as it should.
That's all right.
Okay, no problem. The mechanic doesn't have to explain to you all the little parts or the names of them. Okay,
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. You go to the doctor. You don't need to know every single thing. You go with an acute pain on your. You don't need to.
When you're old enough, you can learn that in biology and stuff, but not at 5. When they do 6, 7, they do all this sexual education in school. This is just to. They're not even helping them understand. They misleading them.
This is not about helping children or keeping them safe. Okay, the children's brain and the human brain develops in a manner where, at that age when they're 4 or 5 years old, okay, by opening their minds up to sexualized images, sexualized words, okay, that then sits in the very base layer of their minds when their minds are forming at a very, very young age, okay, and that then starts normalizing a certain way of thinking. Now, this will absolutely leave you gobsmacked. Okay? So you sit there and you ask yourself. So when I went for my for the same thing 2 years ago, when my daughter was in year 1, same school.
Yeah.
Okay. They had the word vagina and penis and
in year 1.
In year 1, yeah. Under health. Okay, under health, right?
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. Fine. This year, when I went 2 years later, there was a diagram, and this is the diagram with anus and vulva on it. The word vagina was missing. Okay,
it's because people complained about it, or they just.
But then you don't. If people complain about it, the people who complain about vagina are not gonna suddenly think that anus and vulva
is better. Yeah.
Now, I'll tell
what's vulva?
Okay, now
I never heard. I don't know the word. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you why. And even when I actually told the teachers this, their minds clicked, and you could tell in their eyes, okay, that when I told them this, they were like, "Whoa!" They do these things very, very subtly. So the vulva is basically, as I found out recently, is the outer part of the vagina. Okay, now when you have a sex change operation during any transgender related surgery, okay, they create the outer vulva, okay, whereas the vagina is the
whole
inner,
thing.
the inner,
yeah. The natural.
Yeah. So what happened is when you remove the word vagina, okay, and you use the word vulva instead, okay, and the children in their minds, that area is called the vulva, and that man now has a vulva, and therefore he's a woman. Okay, so you've essentially redefined in a child's mind from a young age what the definition of a woman is.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow. So now, if you got a vulva, it don't matter about the rest. You're a woman.
You're a woman, and the children growing up believing, that's the body part, vulva. That's it. That's what makes a woman.
I think a lot of people are waking up to this now. To be fair, slowly. I think
very subtle. It's very, very subtly done from the earlier age, and
yeah, they're putting seeds in their heads.
Yeah. So again, I think people need to stop being shy. They need to stop bowing down. They need to stop being intimidated, okay, by these misogynist, okay, homophobic, transphobic. Now, I'm not saying that people need to go around and hold extreme views, okay, but do not be afraid of speaking common sense and taking a stand for it, okay, because I assure you, you speak up, and there's going to be 99 other people standing around you thinking the same exact thing, that when you say it, they'll be like, hold on, I agree with him, and that the voices will rise.
Everyone's saying misogyny, but nobody's talking about men hate. It's a society that they're encouraging women towards men hate. They asked this question on a show. They asked loads of people, would you rather be in the woods with a bear or with a man? And a lot of women chose they would rather be in the woods with the man. With the bear, sorry. With the bear. And then there was this I think it was Oprah or something, or I don't know, not Oprah. There was another actress on thing. She said, yeah, I'd rather be in the woods with the bear.
Yeah.
To the point where this guy in the show said a bear would rip out your guts in seconds. This is delusional. Do you know what I mean? People, and then obviously we go back to, because I'm going to do a podcast talking about the rules of being a gentleman. One of the rules of being a gentleman is never hurt a woman. You don't hit a woman. Do you know what I mean? Why, and all of a sudden putting these things in their heads that men are a danger to society or to women as a whole?
Again, I think there's a lot to
talk about
across multiple subjects. But in terms of you mentioned misogyny. Do you know there's the word for, there's an opposite word for misogyny which applies.
I know about it.
Misandry.
That's women hating on men.
Well,
they don't use that.
It's just a hate of men. Okay? Same as misogyny is a hate of women. Okay,
but that's not being promoted.
But you see, basically, what it is anything. So if anything that relates back to traditional values, okay, and traditional male-female roles, okay, is now misogyny. Okay,
yeah. You don't need a man to try to split us up. So I'll touch on this quickly. What they started with, the splitting up, they started a few years ago with black and white.
Yeah.
Boom. Then they started with men and women. Boom. Divided. Now they divide in religion. What happens in Speaker's Corner? I told you before.
Yeah.
I've been watching it, and now he's on my feeds all the time because obviously the algorithm knows about me watching it. There's Muslims, Christians, all different aspects of Christian, Hindus, everyone on Speaker's Corner, but they used to be sharing ideas and knowledge in there. That's what used to be there for political views. Now they're actually insulting each other to a point where they're insulting each other. Some of the Muslims that speakers that go there, I think they're paid to divide.
Yeah.
Some of the Christian ones that they go there, they're paid to divide because no one speaks about any similarities and anything where we could link together and stand strong together against the tyrannies that are happening. And they speaking only about the differences, which they've always been. Yeah. They've been for 2,000 years. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But no one ever, forever.
I'm really glad you mentioned this.
Yeah.
Okay, because X is the only thing I actually use. And I'm starting to write a lot more threads to help people's knowledge.
Yeah.
And one of the threads that I'm going to be doing next week is again, looking at the similarities between the three Abrahamic
religions,
okay,
other than all the differences.
Yeah.
Because if we can talk about differences forever, there's no matter how much I want to defend Christianity or you'd like to defend Islam, or so, there's always gonna be a backfire, and we can fight forever, never, other than looking at the similar.
you will be shocked when you put all these myths aside, how the three religions
They're
are
so-
almost what they. For example, the hijab is being criticized. Did you know in Judaism and Christianity,
They used to wear it.
women? Have you ever seen a photo of Mary without a head covering?
The
Tell me why.
Yeah, but the Christian Orthodox, I'm an Orthodox, the women are not allowed to walk into a church without a veil.
Yeah.
You know, as a woman, you have to have a veil to walk into a church. As an Orthodox, Orthodox prostate and then touch the floor. To, huh?
Should we-
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's slashing, yeah. Yeah, it's prostate and they have to touch the floor. So it's a lot of similarity, but we can touch that in next thingy. So, boom.